Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Albion. When last we left off, we completely cleared out the treasure cave, and now some of the items have been swapped around. Thunag now has the metal helmet and a fire ring. Malthus has the Luke's hand helmet, which makes his luck stat a little bit ridiculous. Syrah now has a fire ring, Dra now has the ice ring, and Reyna actually has some rings. Tom, by the way, is completely unchanged. Now that we've sorted out the treasure cave, we need to go and sort out the conflict between the Iskai and the Celts. There is only one way that you can solve it, and that is to get a very, very important item. We actually have half of that item in the form of that document piece. We need to get a hold of the other piece of the document, and once we've done that, we can sort out this conflict. We can go to the area where the conflict is happening and talk in general there, but without the complete document, we're not actually going to be able to solve the problem. We do want to go there, however, to mainly show off just how many enemies are in that area. There are an absolute load of them. They weren't kidding when they said that there are a lot of enemies by the shrine. There definitely are, and they're all fears if memory serves. Large quantities of fears. Let's go and find our way over to the Shramallanar area first, though, and see what we can do with looking around. Also, I have no idea still how to get to that bush. There's an enemy nearby. Hello, Mr. Crondeer. How are you? I don't remember if you were there before. You might very well have been. Alright, let's just deal with you, shall we? Shouldn't be too difficult. Actually, you probably attack so fast that you may even go before... Nope, you still do not go before them. I always forget that. Hello, Mr. Crondeer. How are you? I think we could actually take you on. It's risky, but I think we could take you on without using a frost attack. However, a lightning strike will most certainly not go amiss, and why not just use the fireball? We do have a lot of them. The Skrin aren't going to be able to do anything there. Not even to Syrah. And let's see how well you last. You actually managed to deal a bit of damage, which is impressive. But you are now dead, which is good. Alright, let's finish off the remaining, shall we? We'll have that there, this here, that there. Actually, you might as well just attack that one, and we'll have you move over. We could actually have you try and attack. You'll probably hit. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad, and one very dead Skrin, 2 dead Skrin, and 3 dead Skrin. Brilliant! We'll just pass these items off and move on. There are no more enemies to speak of at the moment. Keyword at the moment. There's probably going to be more later. Alright, up the pathway, and eventually when that bridge comes about, we're going to cross that. I'm very glad that this bridge is in very good working order, and there are some Warnakes. Hello! You're an encounter waiting to happen. A very difficult encounter in some regards, but not too difficult in other regards. There we go. That's one dead, and that is how powerful Syrah is now with ranged attacks. It's very, very telling how effective Syrah is. Alright, we'll just do that there. We'll have you attack that one, we'll have you use a fireball there, and we might as well just have you attack there. And that should be, yep, 1 dead, 2 dead, and the attacks here should be entirely ineffective. At least I hope they'll be ineffective. There we go! And Reyna and Malthus there were really good at dealing with that one. I think these two should be able to mop up that one, and you should be able to get attacks there. There we go. One of them's a good hit, which isn't too bad. However, that is bad. That is very bad. We'll have you move there, and I think it's time to use a Frost Splinter here, just to make sure that Malthus doesn't get absolutely obliterated by that Warnak 3. There we go. And that's why you have the Speed Amulet equipped to Syrah. It makes it that much... Oh, never mind. Turns out we probably could have done that quite capably there. Level 23. Not bad whatsoever. We'll pass these items over to Dra and move on. We're probably going to need to rest, though, pretty soon. Mainly because there are a lot of encounters nearby. There are a lot of encounters nearby, and we need to make sure that we can deal with all the encounters that we find. There we go, that should probably be enough. At least, oh well, never mind, it definitely was enough. We need a Frost Avalanche right now. It'll cost 8 life points, but it will certainly be worth the effort. Alright, what do we want to do here? We want to make sure that that one most certainly dies. There we are, and there we go. Excellent! It may have cost life points, but it most certainly was worth it. Also, it makes it that little bit better. Notice that it's now doing 14 points of damage. That is quite a lot of damage, and that one is now dead. And that one is very badly hurt. In fact, it is completely dead, and Thunag's magic has been wasted. Alright, let's just deal with this one now, shall we? Because once these ones are dead, we should be okay, but we'll definitely need to rest afterwards. We'll swap these attacks around and make sure that the 1-3 most certainly dies. And there's 1 dead, there's 2 dead, and there's 3 dead. Excellent! Thunag is now level 15. He's getting very close to the point where we'll be able to most certainly learn most of the spells that we encounter. Also, resting now is a very, very good idea indeed. It is very dark, but it is certainly worth doing so. And there is another encounter. Where is that encounter? Ah, it's up there. Hello, Mr. Krondir. We'll just fight you, shall we? And all the other enemies that are nearby as well. It's not going to be so bad, though. We should be able to defeat this encounter with little difficulty. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 attacks in a row hit. 7 attacks. And Rainer's crossbow bolt to finish it off. Not bad whatsoever. And we might as well just do that and have a fireball here. That's a good plan. And that will be the Krondir 2 pretty much dead. Remember when I was very worried about Krondir 2s? Not so much... Whoa, that was ridiculous! That was a critical attack there, and it showed. One single attack with the axe there most certainly obliterated that opponent, and now we just have Skrin 2 to worry about. Or not worry about, as the case may be. However, there was one single attack there that managed to hit, and that in itself is a little surprising. Okay, we'll just move up here and deal with this. Hello, Skrin! You're slightly off screen, and also soon to be very, very dead. There we go. One more, and you are dead. 93 experience. Not bad. We'll take these items and we'll move on. There are no more enemies. I was about to say that there was another enemy there, but no, no more enemies. Let's move on. We want to head over here. Ah, this bush now has seeds in it. We'll go and take those. There we go. Where are those enemies? They're up rather than down. Ah, hello! It's a small group of Skrin 2 in a singular line that are now about to horribly, horribly die. We'll just split these attacks like that, and we'll have a fireball. Actually, there's no reason to do that at all. Doing that is not going to work, because they move before we do. That, however, will work. There we go, those 4 won't do anything except attack, and the other 2 will probably move. There we go, 1 dead, 2 dead, and 2 dead is not bad at all. We'll have that there, we'll have that there, and a few attacks here. There's no reason to do anything like fire any spells right now. This is a pretty simple encounter. We're not really going to have any problems with it, and this is when the Skrin decide to absolutely obliterate us. Or not, as the case may be. We actually won't have Rainer attack right now. We've pretty much got this one. Aha! That enemy is trying to retreat. And we'll let that enemy retreat. There's no reason to give chase. Shrymalinar is actually where we need to go right now. We can't do anything else without going to Shrymalinar. Ooh, there's another one of these bushes here that we'll get some seeds from. And there's an enemy somewhere nearby. We'll grab these first, though, and pass these 25 seeds now over to Syrah. And just in case you were curious, she has more than enough of the seeds. Oh! here are a lot of Krondir. The Krondir, however, we're not really worried about, and I'm surprised that I'm saying that, but we're really not worried about Krondir at the moment. As you can see, they're not a big threat whatsoever. Not the Krondir ones, anyway. We'll have you guys attack that one. There we go. And that one, yep, is pretty much dead. The Krondir 2, however, we need to use a Frost Avalanche on, because that is a dangerous situation just waiting to happen, and I mean waiting to happen. We'll have a Lightning Strike here, and we'll have a Fireball there. There we go! And this encounter is pretty much dealt with. Now, if you think this party is good, wait until we get the next... That enemy is just dead. That enemy is just dead. Just wait until we get the next person in the party to replace the one that we already have. And goodbye, Krondir 2s. They're just pretty much gone with the exception of this one. We need to move over a little bit. There is another Krondir 2 up there, though, that we're going to have to start softening up. Alright, what do we want to do? We want to actually use a Fireball here, I think. There we go. That should do the trick. And there is one Krondir 2 gone. There should really only be one left at the end of this. There we go. We'll move you over there, and we'll just wait. Another hit, and you do move very quickly, and I mean very quickly. Fortunately, Dra and Tom are in the way to protect the spellcasters, and with a few hits here, that Krondir is defeated. Also, Malthus is now level 19. He's very close to level 20, and when level 20 hits, we get a really good spell. Dra is now carrying too much. This is to be expected. What if we move that over there? There we go, much better. I think if we want to get to the shrine, we actually want to head down here, and is that another encounter? That is more Krondirs. There are so many Krondirs around Shamalanite, it's exceptionally dangerous. Alright, what do we want to do here? We want to most certainly attack here, and just sort of wait. There we go. That's a fair few. Actually, that is a lot of dangerous things. I think we need a Frost Avalanche here, because otherwise we are going to be in some serious trouble. And we also want some Fire Rain, and we also want some Fireballs. There we go. We most certainly do not want any of these Krondir to hit right now, because if any of these Krondir hit, I think our front line might dissolve. A few Krondir 2s is fine, but that many is going to be very deadly. Also, 16 points of damage. That is nothing to shirk at. It's really impressive. There we go. That was every single hit that Dra had hitting there. That was really impressive, and that Krondir 2 is just dead. That Krondir 2 is just absolutely dead. What do we need to do now? I think we now need to use a Lightning Strike there, we need to use a Fireball here, and we need that attack there, this attack here, and you just to attack that one there. There we go. That should finish them off. Fingers crossed. That's one dead. That is another dead. And that one is still going. Did I forget to have Dra attack? If so, that's not good whatsoever. There we go. That's a few hits there, and another Krondir 2 bites the dust. But there's still one more to go, and this one hasn't been hit that many times. Let's hope we can finish this one off, shall we? There we go! Excellent. Dra is level 21. Level 21, that is exceptionally impressive. I don't know if they get more than 4 attacks around, but if they get 5 attacks around, that would be just amazing. This is a very dangerous route indeed. I think we have to go this way, although I'm not entirely sure. Let's go. It's been a while since I've been in this direction. Then again, it might not be this way whatsoever. I could be absolutely wrong. Or I could be absolutely right, but there's another Krondir here, and another one of those bushes. Also, here are a ton of Krondir 1s, and a few Krondir 2s. it's probably worth consuming one of these potions right now. Or maybe a few of them. There we go. That will most certainly help, and we might as well have Thunag drink that one there. We don't need to worry about these Krondir 1s right now, but we will need to worry about the Krondir 2s when they eventually get there. There we go, a few hits there, and that Krondir 1 is dead, and that Krondir 1 is not dead. We could have a single round of focused fire here to deal with this one. It might be a good idea. Also, I think that Fire Rain, yep, is completely maximum level, which is quite good. Alright, we'll do it that way round, and let that start. That Krondir 2 is still alive, not very much damage there. That Krondir 1 is not alive, and kapow! One dealt with. The thing that really doesn't work to our benefit, though, is the fact that the Krondir 1s move very, very slowly, which allows them to move into openings that are created by other Krondir dying. Alright, let's, no, Thunderbolt is really not a good time to use that right now. We'll use that at the moment. One critical hit, and one dead Krondir. Also, two very fast-moving Krondir too. Excellent. This is a bit of a precarious situation, and I think a Frost Avalanche is most certainly needed here. It's needed because otherwise we are going to have people get obliterated. Also, this is a good source of experience, if nothing else. We will eventually find the, we'll definitely find the shrine. We could actually go straight to Shamalanar first, but it is worth going there first. The shrine, that is. There we go. They're not yet dead, but I don't think we need to do anything else attack-wise there. Why did I get you to use another Frost Avalanche? I have no idea. We could have saved that magic. I thought you were attacking with your ranged weapon, but it doesn't seem to matter because we've pretty much won this one. There we go. Another 230 experience, and another 8 Krondir meet and try. Not bad whatsoever. There we go. And there are more enemies. Let's very quickly grab this, shall we? How many more enemies are there down here? It appears to be just those Warnakes. I suppose we could take those on. Let's see how many there... Actually, it's a mixture. A not very dangerous mixture at all. It's going to be primarily these Skrin. That's a threat, and that is a threat. I was about to say that's an enemy. Indeed, that is an enemy. But it's a dangerous enemy. One we need to be very, very careful of, and that enemy has been defeated, and this Krondir is very sneakily trying to move that way. I don't like that that Krondir is very sneakily trying to move that way. I think we're going to need to deal with that. And that is by no means enough magical energy. We're going to need a bit more. But for now, let's go deal with these foes. There we go, that... We might as well have you attack that there and you attack that there. There we go. Not much more we need to do right now. We'll just wait patiently. That's one enemy completely not defeated, and that enemy has been defeated. I think Frost Crystal might actually be sufficient here, because we don't really need to have the Skrin 2 frozen. We could deal with the Skrin 2 with Raina, though. That seems like a good idea. There we go. One Frost Crystal. And it also gives Frost Crystal some experience, because Frost Crystal is still not very powerful at all. There we go, a few attacks. Just a couple. And we have another round of this, and not a round of you doing that. You can deal with that enemy there. There we go, much better. And that's one Krondir 2 dealt with, and that dealt with, and Syrah is now level 22. We most certainly are gaining a lot of experience, even if we aren't finding the shrine. There we go. Anything else here? Let's have a look, shall we? Well, there's just a lot of enemies here, really. A lot of pretty easy enemies that we're most certainly going to deal with. There we go. Hello, Skrin 2, how are you? You have been defeated, and we can pretty much not use... I've no idea what happened to the graphic there, but it has now been dealt with. Alright, let's just have lots of attacks here, because there's really no reason to worry otherwise about anything else. Nobody else is really going to be why are you attacking a Screen 1 first? It's probably... Actually, the reason why you're doing that is because nobody else can hit that one, but it's still a bit of a waste for Drer to attack a Screen 1. It really is a waste. Remember when that wasn't a waste? That was a long time ago. There we go. And we just need to mop up now, I think, quite capably. We'll have you attack that one there, and we'll just let these Scrin ineffectually strike at us. Or at least try to strike at us. That's another one dead, and that's another one dead. That's another one not dead, though. Wouldn't be surprised if a Scrin 1 here decided to try and run away. It would be a sensible plan, but you don't move fast enough. There we go. 70 experience, and Thunag is now level 16. I think we're getting rather close, because we can see that fear there. Let's deal with this Crondir first, though. A singular Crondir 2. I think it's safe to say that we can probably deal with a singular Crondir 2. There we go. That's a lot of attacks, and the Crondir's attack missed, and that was unfortunate for the Crondir, because the Crondir is now very, very dead. These fears, however... there's also a Rinri and some Kiz there. That's going to be interesting. It's not a very dangerous encounter, though. Not a very dangerous encounter at all. Let's just have some attacks going off here. Banish Demon might actually be a good spell to cast here. It'll be a very good spell to cast here, actually. There we go. If that is, Melthus goes before the fears. Let's see. No, he doesn't. Fortunately, Drer managed to completely deflect that spell, which is the reason why I have that amulet equipped on Drer. Alright, another banished demons here. It'll certainly make our efforts a lot easier. A few attacks here and a few attacks there, and I think we're pretty good. That Fear 1 is gone. That Fear 1 will also soon be gone. Goodbye, Fear 1! And that Kiz is also gone. A few movements here, and we should be pretty good. There we go. That was not so good, though. We need to, Syrah's actually going to run away, because Syrah is extremely fast, but that's alright, though. There's another encounter here, though. Another encounter. We'll deal with you, and then I think we'll call it a video. It's just one Crondir 2. Hello, how are you? We're just going to pelt you with lots and lots of magic, if that's okay. I don't think it's going to be okay. There we go. A few attacks. Not many of them hit, though. But the Crondir barely hit in return. Kapow! Still alive, though, I see. I think it's time to hold off on the magic. And indeed, that is one dead Crondir. Also, barely any experience for that. So, when we come back, folks, we're going to rest some, and then we'll keep searching for that shrine. It is very important that we find it, after all, and I do think we're getting rather close. Or, alternatively, we might have walked straight into a, I think it's actually over the river, if memory serves. We've got an absolutely massive way just to get lots of fights. But hey, why don't we just go now and try and sort out that issue with the shrine, eh? Let's just pretend we didn't go this way. Actually, we did go this way. It was nice to explore, though, and to see all the encounters that we can face by going this way. So, when we come back, folks, we'll head back across the bridge and go towards that shrine. Oops. I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then.